Okay, wonderful. So project life cycle. What is project life cycle? SAP project life cycle. Now, any project, SAP project, .NET project, Java project, has a life cycle. If you guys are from a software engineering background, you would understand what a life cycle means. It's also called SDLC, Software Development Life Cycle. The SAP project life cycle is also very similar. Only thing is, the terminology is a little different. And the purpose of this class is to go over the SAP specific terminology and SAP specific project methodology and life cycle. Okay? But in your mind, if you have already read SDLC, if you know the typical waterfall model, you can relate it to it. If you do not understand the SDLC life cycle, then you can just follow my lead. No worries. Okay. At a high level, these are the 5 steps in a project life cycle. Project initiation, requirements, blueprint, realization, go live. I have simplified things down and only giving you 5 steps. As we go forward to the next set of slides, we'll go step by step into each of these. Like I said, these series of steps are very similar to a typical project life cycle. Nothing different. The regular waterfall model of project initiation, requirement gathering, functional high-level design, low-level design, and then realization means implementation, and then go live is go live. So same steps. No difference. Only the terminology here is different. Where they are different? For example, blueprint is generally divided in a typical SDLC life cycle into high-level design, low-level design. That's how it's called in a typical Java project or a .NET project. In SAP, there are different words for it, and one of the main word is called blueprint. I'm going to talk about it in the next set of slides. Realization. Again, a very SAP specific word. In the general SDLC life cycle, realization could be called implementation or coding, words like that. Okay? These are some of the parallels that you can draw with your SDLC life cycle. Okay. Next slide. So let's go step by step. First step in the high level is project initiation. Right? So what does a project initiation comprise of? It comprises of 4 steps. Scope definition, estimation, staffing, licensing. There could be other steps. There are some other steps that are very specific to a project. But at a minimum, you will have these 4 steps. So let's take an example. Here is Dell. We have been taking the example of Dell, right? So we'll continue with that example. Dell already has implemented SAP. Now, Dell, is purchasing a small company, say, which specializes in making accessories. Okay? Dell has purchased this company. And this company is also selling some other products, right, like accessories. Their sales products need to be incorporated into Dell's process. They are selling some products like some accessories like hard drive and maybe some covers, maybe some vanity covers, or some products they are selling, some accessories. Right? They're related to the PC. And since Dell is in the PC industry, Dell has brought this company, ABC company. Now, another example could be that you can think of is Compaq and HP were merged together at one point in time, maybe 7 years back, 8 years back, if you remember. Compaq and HP. That could be another example. In which case, either of these cases, all these products now need to be sold through Dell's business process. But Dell's SAP system is not configured to deal with these products yet. So, this is a new project. Example of a new project. So this project, somebody in Dell, like a project manager, will initiate, or a big guy, very big guy, will initiate the project. That is called project initiation. Okay, now we need to do this. We need to incorporate these products into the Dell's SAP SD. So what do we need to do? So what first thing that he does is, he will form a team that will define the scope. Very small team. 5 members, 3 members, very small team. They will define the scope of the project. Meaning, okay, what are we going to do in this project and what we are not going to do. This is very important. What we are going to do, what we are not going to do. As an example, we are going to do in SD, we are going to do incorporate these products into the sales process. That is in scope. Okay? In the scope definition, this is what is defined. What is in scope? Okay. Sales process of all these products. Okay. Master data. So on and so forth. Then this team will explicitly identify the out scope also. What is out scope? Out of scope. Let's say this company is interfacing with another company or another vendor for some product or something. And Dell thinks that this is obsolete, no longer required. So they'll say, interface 1, out of scope. We don't need to represent that in Dell. We don't need to bring that into Dell. And maybe outdated customers need not be brought into Dell. Outdated materials need not be brought into Dell. So on and so forth. You define the out of scope activities. so that the project can be clearly measured and identified. So you know what is going to be done, what is not going to be done. Very, very important topic. And step number 2 is estimation. What are we estimating? We are estimating how long it takes to complete this project. And how is estimation done? Okay, how much configuration is required? How much coding is required? How much user training is required? They will the team will estimate how many man hours it will take to complete all the activities listed in the scope of the project. Whatever has been listed in the scope of the project will be estimated for the number of man hours, and that estimation document will be created, which will contain, okay, ABAP we require 3000 man hours, SD we require 650 man hours, we require 1000 man hours, so on and so forth. The next step is staffing. Okay, we know what we require, how many hours we require. Now we need to find somebody to do that amount of work. That is the third step, staffing. So we'll go out and get this consultant, two SD consultants, 2 consultants, 3 ABAP consultants, so on and so forth, depending on how early we want to finish the project. Right? Example, for SD, let's say the total estimation is 3200 man hours. Now, in order to do staffing, what would we do? We will say, okay, per month, per day, somebody else, the consultant, will spend 8 hours. Per week, 40 hours. How many hours in the 1 month? Let's say 4 weeks. 160 hours. So per month, a person, an SD consultant, can spend 160 hours. Total estimate is 3,200. And the scope definition and project initiation, we will also define by what target date we have to complete the project. Let's say 6 months. In 6 months, we have to complete this project. The effort estimation is 3,200 hours. If you want to complete the project in 6 months, how many SD consultants are required? So each consultant per month can do 160 hours. Okay? So 3,200 man hours divided by 6 is 6,530. Roughly 500 and something man hours. Per month, we require 500 man hours of work to be done. Each consultant can do 160. So how many consultants are required? 500 by 160. Roughly around 3 to 4 SD consultants. If we have, then at a rate of 160 man hours a month, the project can be completed in 3,200 man hours in 6 months. Generally, that's how staffing is done. The next thing is licensing. Licensing means how many SAP licenses have to be bought, how many production licenses we need, how many other product licenses we need, and then hardware, sizing, so on and so forth. Many different things happen. But we are interested in these high-level activities only. 4 high-level activities. Okay, this is project initiation. So after project initiation, we have a team, and then we are ready to start the project. Let's say there are 3 SD consultants, Vital, Prajna, and Furkan. Okay, and then maybe one lead, and that lead, let's say, it is Siva. Siva is the SD lead. We need total 4 people. Siva is the SD lead, and the team comprises of Furkan, Vital, and Prajna. And then we have an MM team, similarly FICO team, ABAP team, so on and so forth. So the second major milestone is requirements gathering. So what do you do in requirements gathering? Let's say we are all part of a team, you, me, and Furkan. The first thing is we'll say, okay, identify the super users. Identify the super users. Who is a super user? A super user is somebody who is responsible for a small set of business process. Say, master data, customer master, one super user will be there. I'll just write it down. So overall, if you identify the business process, master data, pricing, OTC, interfaces, so on. So master data, Mary, Louise, Gary, these are the people responsible for that particular business process. And Alice, and give me another name. Why am I short of names?
Pragya.
No, she's in the team, right? We need super users.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Pragya is part of our team. You want to give her away?
No. G.
I want her in my team. So give me another name.
G or whatever.
Oh, Jeannie. Very good. Jeannie in the bottle. Now, these are the super users. Next thing is, second step, we set up workshops. In the requirement gathering, the second step is we set up workshops. What is a workshop? There will be 5 workshops, let's say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One for each. 1 for master data, 2 for pricing, 3 for OTC, 4 for interfaces, 5 for so on and so forth. So I will say, okay, master data and pricing. Okay, Prajna, Vital. 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is OTC and interfaces. Vital and Furkan. Okay, 5 Jeannie. 5 whatever it is. This will be Prajna only. That's it. So these are the responsibilities given to you guys. So what we will do is, each of you depending, so what does Prajna have? She has to do, she is responsible for master data, pricing, and the 5th component. Vital is responsible also for master data, pricing, and OTC and interfaces. Maybe Furkan is responsible for interfaces, Vital is responsible for OTC. So we will divide it up. And Prajna will set up meeting with Mary and Jeannie so that the times don't clash. Okay, Monday morning, 8 to 12 p.m., 8 to 12 noon, master data, one class, one workshop. We will invite Mary. We'll set up an Outlook meeting with her and invite Mary to a meeting room where she will explain what is the master data that she does in that company. She will explain that to us. And Pragya and Mithal will take a pen and paper and start noting things down. If they have any questions, if you guys have any questions, you can ask Mary. Okay, how about this? What is account group? What fields are required there? Blah, blah, blah. You will ask questions if you have. And she will answer your questions. You make notes. That notes you should not lose. Okay? It's not like training notes. Huh? It's very important. So, like that, you will complete all the workshops. Okay? The third step is playbacks. What is a playback? It's not like playback singer. You don't have to sing. But you would have to present it to the users. Some companies call it playback. Some companies call it, reverse KT. Different kinds of things. But the bottom line is, you have to present all of that stuff, whatever you have created, make PowerPoint and then show it to them. Okay, this is what we understood out of your business process meeting. Are we right? Because they are the experts. We are just mirroring their understanding. That's it. Right? Then they will go back and forth. They'll produce some suggestions. And then finally, your understanding will be confirmed. Okay, yes, this is what our process is. And then, next step, the third major milestone is blueprint preparation. What is a blueprint? A blueprint is a document prepared by you. How many blueprints will be prepared in this case? One blueprint for master data. One blueprint for OTC cycle. Meaning, how many documents need to be created, what kind of document flow is required, blah, blah, blah. How many item categories, etc. The third thing is pricing. How to integrate their products into our pricing strategy, so on and so forth. That's it. The three different blueprints will be created. It could be one blueprint which combines all the three aspects, or it could be 10 blueprints which split each individual activity into a blueprint. That depends on the nature of the project and how big that project is. If it is a small $1 million project, then all of this will be done in one document. If it is a $20 million project, then you might require 10 documents because the scope is big. Okay, the blueprint preparation. And then second important, it's a Word document, by the way, nothing special. It's a normal Word document in which you write down their business process as is and to be. Okay, as is meaning as it is right now, and to be. To be means, okay, we are going to do it like this. We want to do it like this. Understood the point? As is and to be. And that's a blueprint. Blueprint is generally a to be. Optional is as is. You can clearly specify. As is, the process is like this. So I'm just trying to write it down. As is. Meaning, as is it is like this. To be. Meaning, the users want this to be like this. As is optional. To be is what a blueprint is. Okay. As is, you can put it just as an optional thing. Okay. Currently, it's happening like this, but this is what the users want. The second step is sign off. What is a sign off? The users need to sign off on the blueprint that you have prepared. This is just a safety precaution. Okay, so that the users understand and users confirm that yes, this is blueprint is correct. This is what we really want it to be. It is similar to a playback. Only in playback they verbally confirm it. In a sign off, they actually confirm it on paper. Meaning you'll send a blueprint document to the users. The users will go through it, send corrections, and finally they say, okay, master data document signed off. This document signed off, which is a physical confirmation from the user. Okay. Next step. Realization. Now, we know what needs to be done. The user has confirmed that this is what needs to be done. And the realization is generally the biggest step, the largest step among these 5 steps. There are how many steps here? 6 steps. Let's start with the first step, functional specification. What is a functional specification? Based on the blueprint, let's say Mithal, Prajna and Furkan have attended the blueprint. They prepared the blueprint. Now, the project manager has thought that maybe, as a lead, I thought, maybe this is not enough. We need one more resource. So I'll talk to the project manager and say, boss, I think we are overloaded. There is a lot of work. Prajna, Mithal and Furkan cannot complete it by themselves. We need some help. So project manager will get another resource. That resource doesn't know what's going on. He will have to read your blueprints to understand what has happened until now. Okay? They will go through your blueprints and understand what has happened. So that is the reason why documents are prepared. Okay? Now, functional specification. What is the functional specification? Functional specification typically contains what needs to be done for that particular process that you defined in the blueprint to happen. I'll give you one simple example. In the blueprint, you specified that the master data needs to be configured in such a way that there are how many types of master data in this company. Okay, they have distributors, resellers, and end users. Okay, they have distributors, resellers, and end users. Distributors needs to have these set of fields, reseller needs to have these set of fields, so on and so forth. And then some other things. The distributor number range needs to start with this, reseller number range needs to start with this. This is all what you write in a blueprint document. Now, in a functional specification for master data, what do you write? You write about the configuration. Okay. For number range. Okay. Account groups that need to be created 0001. Z001. It needs to have these properties, blah blah blah. And Z0002. This is for distributors. It needs to have these properties. This is the configuration document. You go to the configuration level and specify what are the steps that you need to do. That is called a functional specification. In between, there could be another step, which is technical specification. For example, in order to do this, let's say that only by configuration alone you cannot do it. You need some coding. Then your ABAP consultant will be engaged and he will be writing the specification which contains, okay, I have to write this piece of code in this user exit, in this program, so on and so forth. That's called a technical specification. In some projects, the functional specification and technical specification can be combined together into one document. In some projects, functional specification and technical specification is not combined, but they could be separate documents. It's a choice. But most of the cases, there will be one document. The first half will contain functional specification. The second half will contain technical specification. The functional specification will be filled up by the functional consultants, like you, Pragna, Mital, Furkan, and technical specification will be done by the technical guy. 1 second, guys, hold on. Okay, sorry. So we were talking about functional specifications and technical specifications, right? So we are complete with that, let's say. The documents are complete. And then the second step is the actual configuration, which will go parallelly or in parallel with the customization also. You will do the configuration according to what has been specified in the functional specification. And an ABAP consultant will start doing their bit of coding that is necessary to achieve that piece of functionality that you intended to achieve in the functional specification. Okay? So at this point, don't think too much about these two steps. I know you might start rolling off into what we do in SPRO, blah, blah, blah. But it's a very elaborate series of steps. If you think of a simple example, and then it will be easy for you, something like a customer master. Okay? And if you start to think about more complicated business processes, then it could be big, definitely. Now let's say your configuration is done, your ABAP is done. What do you do? As soon as it's done, you do unit testing. What is unit testing? You are testing that small piece of functionality that you are trying to achieve here. Let's say the customer master, customer account too. Is that working fine? Next, maybe you want to test the order to cash only order. You have created a GOR and you have created the item categories and scheduling. Now you should test whether it is running properly or not. Is it running properly? That is called unit test. So you create some orders, try to simulate some orders in the development system, see how it is working. Then The next piece of unit testing will be delivery creation. Okay, I have created these deliveries. First create order, then create this delivery. Is this working fine? That's called unit testing. Next we have integration testing. Integration testing means you not just test a particular piece of functionality, let's say order only. No. You do end-to-end testing. Like, okay, order is created, order is coming in from interface 58, interface 36, which is the ordering interface. From some place order is coming, getting in here, this piece of functionality will be tested, order will be tested, delivery will be tested, billing will be tested, posting to accounts will be tested. This is one full life cycle. An integration test will involve a life cycle along with any interfaces. Maybe during delivery, some warehouse needs to be, an information needs to be sent to some external warehouse. Maybe during invoicing, some file needs to be sent out to the customer. Is this file sent out properly? Did the customer get the file? This is called integration testing. Okay. The next is UAT. What is UAT? User acceptance testing. User acceptance testing. So the user will be set up in a group. Users will come, or Mary, Jeannie, and Johnny, they will all come. Each particular piece of functionality will be tested by them with your help, of course. And they will ask questions, they will ask for modifications, and finally they'll say, okay, good to go, sign off. We are signing off on this process. Yes, it is working. UAT is generally done for sign off. The user has to sign off on the process saying, yes, it is working fine. Then, finally, go live. Go live is where you take the system live. Right? Take the system live. Everything is done. Configuration is fine. The user said that you have configured it fine. Now, you have to take the system live. Now that you are confident that whatever had to be done has been done, what is the next steps? First step is data migration. This company that Dell has bought has some data, right? That data, like customer, material, orders, that data needs to be brought into the system. Yes, right? That is called data migration. Data migration is a topic in itself. So let's not get too overwhelmed, right? Tomorrow's topic is going to be live data migration. So I'm going to talk about the detailed steps that are necessary for migrating data. Step by step, I will go into the process. It's called cutover activity. Okay. One of the cutover activity is data migration. Let me put it that way. Okay. I'll discuss cutover activities in detail tomorrow, same time. The next step is user training. The users have to be trained on the business process. Okay. Right now, you are doing a customer master like this in your system, non-SAP system, let's say. Right now, you are doing your business sales order like this, so on and so forth. Going forward, you have to do it like this. Like this user training, like this data migration, so on and so forth. Okay? The next step is go live. So somebody has to do the go live, right? So you have to actually take it live. So generally, this happens over weekend. So the users will go on a Friday, go have a blast, good party, and you guys will be slogging over the weekend in a dungeon, in a room, the project room, doing preparations for go live, right? Okay, what are the activities that need to be done? What are the sequence of activities you need to do? Because you cannot do in a random order. It has to be done in a specific sequence, right? And then the master data needs to be migrated, transaction data needs to be migrated, and even before all of that, configuration needs to be migrated. Even configuration needs to go step by step. Again, as part of cutover activities, tomorrow I will be discussing the go live cutover activities in detail. Okay, let's say the system has gone live. Then enter hypercare. Hypercare is a specific phase that generally lasts for 1 to 4 weeks. System, there will be lots of problems initially. It's a big system change for the users, right? So there will be lots of problems. This will not work right. That will not work right. It's like doing a marriage. Yeah, always there will be problems. Something is missing here, something is missing there. So there needs to be somebody who has to.
Bad example, Shiva.
No? Hello?
Yeah, I was saying that was a bad example. You're trying to scare me again.
Oh, marriage, huh? Okay.
Scared. We are on marriage. We got scared.
Don't go there, Shiva.
Okay. Yes. No, I'll not go. It's like doing a what? What example can I give you? Any project, after the project is done.
This is just the support, right?
Hypercare is a specific phase of support, but overall it's support, yes.
Yeah.
It is different from the other parts of support, like general overall support. It's not that. Hypercare means a very specific support that is offered immediately after. It's like doing an operation. Okay, you have done an operation, the preparation is done, the actual operation is done, the patient has been operated on, the stitches have been applied, and then the patient is resting in the ICU. So think of hypercare as the ICU, where we take special care of that because he has just been operated on. So we take special care. Anything that
This
comes
is also called as the warranty, right? We used to call that in our testing projects, the warranty period.
Warranty period, yes. Hypercare again is a very specific. For example, there could be an extended warranty for 6 months. Okay, that could be also called warranty. But hypercare is a very specific, like ICU care only. You take care of the project like a baby. The patient is very sick, something could happen, anything could happen. Make sure that you do everything in your capacity to ensure that the project goes smoothly, and any errors that come up will be fixed immediately. And that phase is generally very small. You don't keep the patient in the ICU for long, 1 to 4 weeks. And after that, start a handoff. What is a handoff? Handoff is where, okay, the project has, the client has an internal team of people, or they have hired other people. So you hand it off to that user. And finally, close the project. Close means you close the project. Okay, everything is done. You take all the sign-offs. You take a big party from the users. If it is successful, if it is failure, then other things will happen. But 99% it will be a success. So the project will be closed and your task will be done. And after that, like Furkan was saying, general support activities will start. Like you need somebody to support that project every day on a day-to-day basis. And that's those support activities will start happening. This is the overall life cycle of the project. Overall life cycle. Okay. So let me stop here and see if you have any questions. Furkan, Vital, Pragna. Do you have any questions in general?
So I just want to know what topic was this, because I was not able to join in time, sir.
This is
SAP?
the project life cycle. SAP project life cycle.
So this is a typical SDLC model, right?
Yes, that was what I was trying to compare it against at the initial first slide. Just terminology is different, but ultimately it's the same as DLC, just different words.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you think about the questions. Tomorrow, we'll also meet at the same time. We will be talking about, sorry, hold on.